cold. It's cold and miserable and very wintry. But it's the solstice. So I'm going indoors now to, if you remember, we got bees in the summer and we were very fortunate that we got a bee harvest, honey harvest. And from the honey harvest, we've got some wax left over. So I'm going to go in and make a candle to dispel this darkness of midwinter and face us forward towards the light of springtime. Come on, dogs. So this is the wax. Now, we had a big bowl of fluffy wax. I thought I was going to get a lot more, but I've cleaned it. I washed it, I've cleaned it, and I filtered it. And this is what we have. And to be honest, you might think it's a lot, but when that's melted down, it's very little. So I realized that if I wanted to make a taper candle, I need a narrow container. So I've got an old herb spice jar here. It's the narrowest thing I can find because I want the wax to come up here so that when I dip the wick in, it's going to have a little bit of length. So I've made a wick with cotton string and I've knotted the ends. So first of all, I'm just going to break up all the wax, put it in here, and then this is going in my pan of hot water so that the wax will melt. So I've never ever done this before, so you're watching me either make a brilliant creation or completely fall flat on my face with the mistake. But look at, this is how we learn. You have to learn from your mistakes. So if it all goes wrong, I'll know better the next time. Okay, so I've had to exchange pans so that the water was coming up as higher up the glass jar. It's all melted now. I've even got a little bit left, which won't be much use. This is the wick, and what we have to do with the wick, first of all, we have to completely soak the wick in wax. So I'm just going to feed it in. So it's going in again for a few more seconds. It's completely immersed in the molten wax now. I'm going to bring it out. I'm just straightening the wick out now so that will help the candle to develop in a straight rather than bumpy. Although I don't mind if it's a bit bumpy because it's homemade, it's rustic, it's natural, it's a very exciting process, it's very alchemical, kind of have to watch everything every second. So I've straightened out the little wick. So traditionally when candles were dipped, you would have your wick and you'd be dipping it in and it would make 2 candles. I'm going to snip that excess off. And I'm just going to wrap this around here. And because it's got that little bit of wax on, it's going to stay on. So I'm going to now dip this into the molten wax. And you just dip it and bring it out again. And that gives it chance to, once it's stopped dripping, you know it's stopped. I think it's going to take quite some time, which explains why only the aristocrats and the church could ever afford beeswax candles. Poorer people in the olden days used tallow, which was various animal fats. And different animal fats produced different standards or quality of your tallow candles. So I can see that there is a slow build-up, but it's still going to take quite some time. So I'll be back after a while. I'm going to take it off the boil. We're just going to keep the wax warm. And I'll be back to you when there's a bit more to show. So, since we started dipping the candle quite some time has gone past, and we finally ended up with this peculiar looking candle. It looks to me like a bit of a lava or some kind of a grub. I've been dipping the candle for a while, but I had to go out and bring my daughter to town, so a few hours have gone by, but I've just finished it off. So it's not the most beautiful looking candle, but it's not bad. I don't think it's too bad for a first attempt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it off the little stick. I'm going to bring it into the living room, and I'm going to set it into a little candle holder, and we'll see how it looks when it's lit up. So I'm going into the living room. So it's actually the 21st of December today as we're filming. So it's the solstice, except the sun doesn't hit that solstice moment on the equator until tomorrow morning at 3:27. But nevertheless, we can celebrate the solstice today. The winter solstice has always been important in Ireland. We have Newgrange, which is our most famous monument, and it predates the pyramids. It's over 5,000 years old. It was built during the Stone Age. We don't know how, because it is such an amazing construct, and it's aligned to the winter sunrise on the morning of the solstice, and the sun rises and the light shines down a passageway into a cavern. And it's not the only monument in Ireland. There's many other monuments dotted up and down the country that are all aligned to the winter solstice. So I think that for our ancestors, you know, they've hibernated, they've sat and dreamed, they've told their stories in the darkness. And when the solstice arrives, which is a 3-day period of the sun standing still, because solstice means sun standing still, they would watch and wait. And that's why these monuments perhaps were built, because they could literally see the sun coming in, and no doubt there was some kind of spiritual intent in aligning the monuments to the winter solstice. And so it was very important, and especially so because in an agricultural year, this is the time when we know, when we reach midwinter, that the darkness is coming to an end, and we can then look towards the light and make plans for the coming light. And I'm just thinking, it's not really a single standalone event, because we've been working towards this from Samhain, which is the Celtic New Year. And it's the Celtic New Year because, like the day, which begins at dusk, the Celtic New Year begins as we go into winter. So we've gone through this period of darkness where we have hibernated and we've cuddled up and we've begun dreaming and thinking about what we want for the new year. And of course, there's a lot of seeds falling. So those seeds are falling into the dark earth, and they're settling in and they begin to germinate. And it's the same with our dreams, that we have them in our heads, we have them in our hearts. So they're deep down inside in the darkness, just like a new baby in the womb is in the darkness. So everything has to come from the darkness. So really, the darkness isn't to be feared. It isn't to be maligned. It's a very positive thing. It's just the balance. It's part of that balance of darkness and light. So now we've reached the solstice. We're bang in the middle of midwinter, and we've come this way and we're going that way down to springtime and back to the light. I love to celebrate the solstice by having lights around the house and candles lit everywhere. It's so cheerful, it's so cheering, and it's so homely, and it makes you feel very safe and secure, unlike being out in that cold darkness. And normally I would be frugal and I wouldn't be burning candles all over the place, but I just think it's important to acknowledge that the darkness has its benefits, but we're moving back to that light, as I said. And you know, there's a lot to look forward to with the light. There's all those seeds are going to germinate, all your dreams are going to come to fruition, and we're going to be able to get back outside and relax and get to work with the earth again. The solstice cannot really be seen as a standalone event because we have all the other festivals on the wheel of the year. And during one of those other festivals, we've harvested this beautiful wax from our bees, and we've been able to make this one little candle. And this little candle is going to bring that promise of light that we receive on the winter solstice. So I think I'll just give it a little blast with a match and see if it lights. Yay! Now, isn't that beautiful? That beautiful golden honey glow. So even though it may not look absolutely perfect, it's doing the job of bringing the light in. And so just before I go, I would just like to extend a very happy, many happy blessings to everybody who's watching, for peace and joy in the coming year. Have a happy Christmas, have a happy Yule. I hope you had a happy Hanukkah. And I just think it really is a time to gather around the fire and think about all those things that are important, which is love and friendship. And we are very appreciative of everybody who is watching and commenting and sending emails and sending cards. We are absolutely touched to the core of our hearts. So sending all that love back to you, and we'll see you in the new year. Until then, have a wonderful midwinter celebration. I hope you enjoyed today's film. If you did, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And have a look at the website danusirishherbgarden.com for more information about us and about the herbal medicine courses I offer and the Wise Woman Way training. And if you go to the shop, you can find the books, the weed handbooks and other herbal goodies. And remember, we put a new film out every Sunday. So looking forward to seeing you next week.